everybody, it's indie author Nick Belisi back with our round 2 of talking about the books so you guys can further understand them a little bit. In my last video, I talked about my first book, The Souls of Paradise. In this video, I will be talking about my second book, my greatest accomplishment so far, Paradise Reborn. Now, as you can see, it is a lot bigger than the first book. The first book came in at 234 pages. This one clocks in at 512. Now, my mistake, 510. So drastically bigger than the first book. You know, this is where I really came into it. I've said that many times in my videos. I'm just so unbelievably proud of this book. I am even more proud of the reception that it's gotten from people, you know, reaching out to me and telling me that this was their favorite book or how much they related to the characters. It really was such a humbling experience to be able to have that with you guys. And I just wanted to go over a little bit, you know, about the book and stuff. This does take place 2 years after the first book. It is a different main character this time around, as you can see from the front cover. In our first book, we had Stella. This one we have Gwen. So this is the first time Gwen gets introduced. So her full name is Gwendolyn Murphy. She is also a resident of Reedsville, or at least was when she was growing up. You do find out in the beginning of the book something very tragic, or a series of tragic events came upon her, which forced her to leave Reedsville. But something, just like with Stella, was beckoning her to come back to the town. And she didn't exactly know what. It does dive into it in the story. And, you know, you do realize what it is that was pulling Gwen back and how it was more of just like it wasn't just a cosmic thing pulling her back. There were a lot of hands at play that were making her come back to Reedsville. Now, when Gwen comes back to Reedsville, we do get to see a bunch of characters from the first book, i.e. Pete Sorelli, Nurse Betty is in this one again, Detective Hunt is in this again, Dr. Clark is mentioned in this book, but not seen. So there's a lot of recurrence in this book that took place from the first one. And then we get introduced to a few new characters, Gwen obviously being one of them. Then her childhood best friend, Stacy, is another huge part of this book. We get to start meeting some of the characters from the Diligent Company, like Dr. Stephen Tango. We get to meet, what's his face? Vincent Knapp, just to name a few. You know, those were just like main people in this book. Craig Walters, he was another huge part of this book. And yeah, it really, oh, and Luigi, of course. So it's a bigger book, a lot more detailed. There is a lot more dialogue. Again, I've said in previous videos, I've gotten positive reviews about the way that I do dialogue, but I've also gotten negative reviews about it. So, you know, you guys check it out and you tell me what you think. I think I'm a little more than positive when it comes to the feedback on the dialect. There are some negative, but I think ultimately it was a positive review that they liked it. So far we're heading in a good direction, but you guys let me know in the comments if you read it, what you thought about it, or what you would think about trying to read a book in that style anyway, just because I'm curious to see. Obviously my third book, to finish the conclusion, is gonna be written in the same manner, because why would I change it when the other two books are set up a certain way already? So I'm just gonna keep going with that format. Maybe when I write my fourth book, which isn't a part of this series, I can do the traditional manner, see how that plays out. So, but in this book, we are in Reedsville 2 years later. Gwen does get beckoned back to Reedsville. We come back in contact with those characters. I don't wanna give a spoiler alert, but one of our main people from the last book happens to come back in this book. Again, I don't wanna spoil it, so make sure you check out the book if you haven't. But my personal favorite character, if you watched my books before, does make a return in this book in a major way. Just as a heads up, if you have not read this book, it does deal with a lot of heavy themes. Sexual abuse being one of them, self-harm being another one, alcoholism. It's very, very heavy themed. So please keep that in mind. I do put trigger warnings in my books before anyone even tries to get into reading them, which I could show you real quick. I just thought it was like a common courtesy thing. So if you do see my book, it does show the trigger warning and everything in that, and it does have the help center and crisis prevention lines and stuff for anyone going through these similar issues, or if there's someone you know that's going through them, we do offer the help. And that's a lot of the reason why me and Stormy do our Tuesday night healings, is to reach out and help people. So it'd be kind of counterproductive for me to write a book about this stuff and not give a forewarning before someone reads it. You know, I would want to be that, although I'm not super sensitive to a lot of the matters, it's still a common courtesy thing. And I feel like most people who have read that have told me the same thing. So I'm glad that, you know, I put that in there overall. And it is in all of my books, including the newest one coming out. So just something to keep an eye out for. Now, in this book particularly, I think that I dove into more detail on the characters. I feel like you can relate to them more. But the reason why I did it, not only because I was a lot newer at my first book than compared to my second book, but I think the reason why I did it in my head is because it's being told from the point of view of the main character. And Stella in the first book, she's more of like I said, like an emo goth girl who's like more into herself. She's not as vocal. She's very shy. She's dealt with a lot of trauma and stuff like that, so she internalizes a lot. And when she's telling a story from her perspective, she's not going to be as forthcoming. As to where Gwen here, Gwen is a lot more vocal. Gwen is a lot more like personality. So she's talking more, which goes to show in the dialogue because there's a lot more to be told. And honestly, those were the two reasons behind why I did that. So, you know, in this book, you're really going to get to know Gwen. So many people have reached out to me and said that they really relate to Gwen. And, you know, just as a, you know, throw in there is a surprise ending. Don't kill me when you read it. A lot of people got upset with it. I cannot tell you from local people how many phone calls I received about how could this happen? Oh my God, oh my God. Buckle up if you haven't read the book. The ending will throw you for a loop. It needed to happen. That's all I can say. When we get to the third book and we start diving it down, you'll see exactly why it needed to happen and how it drove the story for the third book to exist. So bear with me when you get to the third book, although that also has a really, really wild ending. It will all be okay. So for all of you people out there ready to like kill me over, you know, what I do with the characters in this book, it will all make sense in the end. Just bear with me, and, you know, thank you so much for sticking with me on the ride so far. I know it's been crazy, especially with this work injury that I was dealing with. It's been such a long time coming to get all this done. And I know to the hardcore Paradisers out there that have been asking me, when are we going to get book 3? When are we going to get it? We're here. We're coming to it. A little more time, I promise, and we will have it. Just bear with me. But if you haven't checked out my books, like I always say in my videos, you can certainly go on Amazon and find them there. Just look up my name or look up the titles of the books. Even if you Google my name, which I thought was like a very cool thing, if you Google my name, all my books pop up. So that was pretty cool. You could also go on our Facebook, our TikTok, on YouTube. All of the links are posted in there too. If you buy from me from Poshmark and Macari and stuff like that, I stick my business card in there too, so you guys can check it out. Now, if you guys have been watching along with this video, this is going to be the first time that I've done this. So if you watch this video, make sure you like the video, send me a DM, and I'll cut you a 15% discount when you purchase from my Poshmark store. So send me a DM that you watched the video, give it a like, and I'll hook you up. So I'm looking forward to doing more videos with you guys. Thank you all that have tuned in, and I cannot wait to share more with you in the future.